If you've ever spoken to a virtual assistant, watched Netflix recommendations improve, or used any product powered by deep learning, you've encountered the legacy of Geoffrey Hinton. Known as the Godfather of deep learning, Geoffrey Hinton is one of the most influential figures in artificial intelligence. His decades-long work has shaped the very foundation of neural networks, and his ideas have become central to modern machine learning. But who is Geoffrey Hinton, and why is he so important? Let's start from the beginning. Geoffrey Everest Hinton was born in 1947 in Wimbledon, London. He comes from a lineage of intellectual heavyweights. His great-great-grandfather was George Boole, the inventor of Boolean algebra, a system of logic that underpins modern computing. With such a legacy, it's no surprise that Hinton would grow up to challenge the boundaries of logic and learning. He studied experimental psychology at the University of Cambridge before earning his PhD in artificial intelligence from the University of Edinburgh in 1978. Early on, Hinton believed that the brain worked through distributed representations, patterns of activity spread across networks. At a time when symbolic AI dominated the field, Hinton's views were unconventional and, to some, heretical. Symbolic AI relied on handcrafted rules and logic, things humans explicitly programmed. Hinton had a different vision, that machines could learn from data the same way humans do. This led him to neural networks, models loosely inspired by the human brain. But the early years weren't easy. In the 80s, neural networks fell out of favor. Many in the AI community thought they were inefficient, inaccurate, and impractical. Hinton and his peers were seen as pursuing a dead end. Funding was scarce. Skepticism was high. Still, Hinton persisted. In 1986, he co-authored a landmark paper with David Rumelhart and Ronald Williams, introducing the backpropagation algorithm, a method for efficiently training multi-layer neural networks. This paper is widely considered a turning point. It showed that deep learning was not only possible, but potentially powerful. Despite this breakthrough, neural networks remained niche. In the 1990s and early 2000s, support vector machines, decision trees, and statistical models took center stage. But Hinton kept refining neural networks, often working in the shadows of mainstream AI. Then came the deep learning revolution. In 2006, Hinton and his students introduced the concept of deep belief networks. Layered neural nets trained in stages. This rekindled interest in deep learning, and in 2012, everything changed. That year, Hinton and two of his students, Alex Krzyzewski and Ilya Sutskever, entered the ImageNet competition, a major benchmark for computer vision. Their neural network, AlexNet, crushed the competition. It achieved a top 5 error rate of 15%, significantly better than previous models. AlexNet wasn't just a win, it was a wake-up call. Suddenly, tech giants like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft took notice. Neural networks weren't just theory anymore. They worked, and they worked incredibly well. Soon after, Hinton joined Google to help integrate deep learning into real-world applications. His influence spread across the AI landscape. Many of his students became leaders in their own right. Ilya Sutskever co-founded OpenAI. Jan LeCun, another deep learning pioneer, became chief AI scientist at Meta. Together with Yoshua Bengio, Hinton, LeCun, and Bengio are often referred to as the founding fathers of deep learning. But Hinton's contributions go beyond algorithms. He helped create a culture of curiosity, persistence, and intellectual rigor. He believed in the promise of learning system when few others did. He saw potential in data-driven approaches long before they were mainstream. Yet, as AI grew more powerful, Hinton grew more cautious. In recent years, he's voiced concerns about the societal impact of AI, particularly large language models and generative tools. In 2023, Hinton left Google, citing the need to speak more openly about AI's risks. He warned that these systems could surpass human understanding and that we must tread carefully. For someone who helped create the foundations of AI, Hinton's caution is profound. He acknowledges the promise, but also the peril. His voice now joins others, calling for ethical AI development, transparency, and alignment with human values. What makes Hinton unique is that he embodies both the technical genius and the philosophical depth needed in today's AI era. He's not just a scientist, he's a thinker, a visionary who has walked the long road from obscurity to acclaim, from optimism to humility. His work has influenced everything from medical diagnostics to self-driving cars to language generation. The modern AI boom owes much of its success to his early insights. So who is Geoffrey Hinton? He's the reason your phone can recognize your voice. He's the architect behind how machines learn from the images. He's the quiet force that turned an ignored theory into the backbone of modern AI. But perhaps more importantly, he's a reminder that progress often begins at the margins, with people who are willing to challenge orthodoxy, endure skepticism, and dream beyond what's visible. The story of Geoffrey Hinton isn't just about deep learning. It's about the long arc of belief, believing in a path when no one else does, and staying on it until the world catches up. And in the field of artificial intelligence, few have walked that path as far, as humbly, and as impactfully as Geoffrey Hinton. Let's go deeper into his life, not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Geoffrey Hinton isn't a flashy public figure. He's soft-spoken, measured, and deeply thoughtful. Despite being at the center of one of the most transformative scientific revolutions of our time, he often credits his students and collaborators before himself. He believes in open science, and he's known for releasing his research publicly to help the field move forward. At the University of Toronto, where he held a professorship, Hinton fostered a generation of thinkers who went on to shape the global AI industry. The lab culture he created was collaborative and intense, built on a foundation of intellectual honesty. He didn't chase hype, he chased truth, even when it took decades to find. One of the fascinating things about Hinton is how his psychology background shaped his approach to AI. He wasn't interested in building machines that mimicked logic circuits. He wanted to understand cognition, how thoughts, perceptions, and concepts emerge from patterns in data. This led him to develop models that reflect how the brain might work in layers, an idea that now dominates how we build AI systems. Even after the success of AlexNet, Hinton didn't rest. He continued to push for innovation in unsupervised learning, teaching machines to learn from raw data without explicit labels. He believed that human learning is mostly unsupervised, and that this was the key to creating truly intelligent systems. His commitment to scientific progress never clouded his ethical awareness. In 2023, when he stepped down from his position at Google, it made global headlines. Not because he was retiring, but because he wanted to speak openly about AI's risks. He warned that as neural networks scale, they begin to exhibit behaviors we don't fully understand. He cautioned that unchecked development could lead to manipulation, disinformation, or even loss of control. This wasn't fear-mongering. It was a sober reflection from someone who had helped build the system from the ground up. Hinton's exit sparked renewed debate about AI regulation. Should we pause development? Should we introduce licensing for large-scale models? What responsibilities do AI researchers hold? These aren't just technical questions. They're deeply human ones. And Hinton's voice added weight, clarity, and urgency. Interestingly, Hinton has always pushed back against one idea, that machines can become conscious. He believes neural networks can do amazing things, classify images, translate text, generate speech, but that doesn't make them self-aware. For Hinton, intelligence and consciousness are not the same. And confusing them, he warns, could lead us to over-trust systems that lack real understanding. Still, Hinton is optimistic about AI's potential to do good. He believes deep learning can help accelerate scientific discovery. It can help predict protein folding, optimize energy use, personalize medicine, and expand education. He envisions a world where intelligent systems empower humans, not replace them. In one interview, Hinton was asked what advice he'd give to young scientists. He said, "Don't follow the crowd. Do what you think is interesting, not what's trendy." That mindset is why deep learning exists today. It's also a powerful lesson for anyone pursuing bold, long-term work. Despite all his accolades, the Turing Award, his Google appointment, his influence on generations of researchers, Hinton remains a reluctant celebrity. He prefers ideas to fame, equations to microphones, research papers to social media, and perhaps that's why his story resonates so deeply. In an age of rapid disruption and sensational headlines, Geoffrey Hinton reminds us that the biggest breakthroughs often come quietly, through patience, conviction, and a deep love of knowledge. His legacy isn't just in the code that runs our devices. It's in the minds of the people he's inspired, the questions he's raised, and the future he's helped us imagine. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, where it is and where it's going, we have to talk about Geoffrey Hinton. Because, in many ways, he didn't just shape the history of AI, he helped invent its soul.